Greetings everyone, it is me, Gigalem, and welcome to the next project. A project you're likely going to see after I work on a few other videos. And it might be a much shorter project. This is Kirby's Dreamland 2, aka Hoshi no Kabi 2. This is the first Kirby handheld game to have copy abilities. Note that I said first Kirby handheld game. And this is actually the first in a trilogy of games to involve a certain dark element in the franchise and what has gotten Kirby its main appeal in terms of, well, the series lore. And boy, I can't wait to get to those other games to talk about some of the more darker elements of the series, because it's what got me into this series as a whole. This is actually the very first Kirby game I ever played. I'm not kidding. And boy, did I realize how much it's aged. I'll talk about it as we get later on into the game. As you know, I have 94% on the save file. I'll talk about why that is. And boy, there are going to be certain elements I'm going to have to go over to talk about when going for 100%, because if there's one thing I do not like doing in these earlier games, it's going for 100%. Let's finally get this road on the show. Yes, I know what I said. We're going to be starting in a very short world known as Grassland. It is literally only 3 levels. And here we're introduced to Rick. This is the Animal Buddy system, a system that's only ever used for these 3 games. Those games being this one, Kirby's Dreamland 2, Kirby's Dreamland 3, and Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. Okay, actually, correction on Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. There are no animal buddies per se in Crystal Shards, but there is something else that basically functions a similar way, but there's a reason why people wish for it to come back. Now, Kirby can still do the same old inhale an enemy, spit out a star, and if you inhale 2, you spit out a stronger star. And you can still play it like classic Kirby and such. But there are some other elements about this game, and, well, one thing that's carried over from Kirby, Kirby's adventure is the ability to, well, copy enemies. You will see these little stars that you can collect. Collect 7 and you get an extra life. And I remember playing this on a purple Game Boy Color. I wish to get my hands on another one of those, more or less for sentimental value. And we come across our very first copy ability, the Parasol. Parasol is kind of a weird copy ability. It's meant to be more of a shielding ability, as you've seen in Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. You have a slower fall with it. Certain projectiles can't hit you while you have it over your head. And it's one of those abilities that you can still have protecting you even underwater. Sadly, one thing that carried over from that game to this, and probably a few other games, is when Kirby gets hit, you lose your ability. And it's very frustrating. I'll say this, despite this being my first Kirby game, like my very first Kirby game, I think I remember playing this at the age of 6. It's aged. And it encapsulates a lot of problems of early Kirby. And I'm going to say this right now, I apologize if I use the rewind for this part, but in order to get 100%, you need to hit the 1-up chance perfectly. Future Gigalem here. Okay, so I legitimately thought that when they said bonus chance, it meant you had to get the 1-up from the chance game at the end of every stage. I did not know that you could re-enter stage bosses, and that triggers a mini-game. The game doesn't tell me this. I only assume that when you enter a boss room, you would just fight the boss again. How was I supposed to know? Me not doing enough research on the games I Let's Play. That's on me. But, yeah. Just basically telling you this right now, so if you're wondering why I am completely missing out on these, now you know. Back to Past Me. So, if I take a bit, well, now you know. So, I'll be a moment. Okay, hopefully that counts. My cat is getting into my suitcase. I left it open while I was looking for my bug bite ointment, thinking I left it in there. So yeah, we have another ability here. We're not going to be showing it off until we get get a certain collectible in this particular world. We're going to be focusing on purely the parasol, and of course an animal buddy. The animal buddies do make an appearance in Hoshino Kabi or Kirby Right Back at Ya. And let's just say the less said about Ku, the better. Then again, it's been like I haven't really binged the series myself. I've only seen like a handful of episodes in a reanimated project. You know the one. And this here is Ifriti, name on screen. This particular enemy has the burning ability, or fire, and will constantly try to basically home in on you and dash towards you. You'll either do a downwards dash or a straight dash. Now, if you excuse me, I have to get a cat out of the suitcase.
Well.
So now we have Rick. Now, depending on your ability, you will have a different effect on the animal partner. With this one, you essentially have what is the closest to Meta Knight's upward stab in this game. In fact, Meta Knight will not appear anywhere in the Dark Matter trilogy. I have no clue for his exclusion, but it's likely just not knowing what to do with the character. And, personally, I can't wait to get certain games in this series. I've been having them on my backlog to finally play them and such. Boy, am I going to have, quite the time trying to get through Squeak Squad and Amazing Mirror. I know you can play Amazing Mirror multiplayer now through the expansion pack service. Anywho, I'll be a moment. Or I can just get it on my first try. Yeah, you have to get that. You have to get the 1-up for it to count on your towards your percentage, and you have to get 100% to unlock certain things after the game is over. Now we have the main reason why I carried the parasol ability. I carried the parasol ability for basically this level. I have to hold on to it. This is one of those Kirby games where getting 100% really takes a bit of some memorization, because you need to know what you need to do for each level and where you need to get everything. And boy, do some of the requirements really drive me nuts. Like, if you want to know how much they drive me nuts, well, I have a notepad written on how to get every single ability, and we have to revisit a level just to get one. And given how short this particular world is, it's going to, it's like we're going to have to basically beat a level and then beat it again while revisiting with said ability. And as far as I am aware, I don't think there's a Howl room in this particular game. So yeah, you'll come across these rainbow drop rooms. Yep, that's the collectible you're getting. There is one per world. There will be certain blocks that will impede your pathway, and what you need to do is bring the corresponding ability. For this one, Parasol. And boy, some of the requirements are going to get stingy. I have choice words for a certain one. We'll get to that when we get to World 4. So yeah. So now we are good to go for the rest of, like, world, for the rest of world, World 1. Because it's just basically as smooth sailing as you can make it until you reach the exit. Gonna be, honest here. If there's one thing I haven't really practiced, it's trying to do the bosses with no ability. I'm not sure if I can do that with every boss. Like, I just know that the final, the penultimate boss is going to be a bit of a pain. So, I'll be a moment until I get this one correct. Or I can just get it on my second try. I swear if it becomes a trend where I just don't take that long and I don't have to cut that much. I mean, to show you how short this is, I'm only like 11 minutes into the recording and I'm already at the first boss. And that first boss is Wispy Woods. Yep. Wispy Woods has a pair of spiraling glasses and a face mask. Topical. Anywho. Wispy Woods will try to... They will try to, use their own... use his own roots to, damage Kirby. And also... use, the various apples they fire. Wispy Woods will... dang it. Now, if you should lose your, animal buddy, you essentially, just have a second health bar. I'm not exactly gonna plan to do... Given how much trouble I'm having with the first boss, and given it's Wispy Woods, I'm not exactly sure if I have the confidence to face every boss without an ability. But there you go. That's Wispy Woods for you. Admittedly, it's not my most cleanest performance, but it's a simple upgrade, but Wispy Woods is a series staple. This is their third appearance in the entire series. And I'm pretty sure we can just already begin World 2, which is Big Forest. And we have the appearance of Koo, who is an owl. Big Forest has... count them. I think just 3 levels. Yeah, just like the first world. But don't count on it just being just 3 levels per world. We will get to worlds that have more than 3 levels. So, yeah. I'm going to ditch the parasol ability and look for something completely different. We've already used the parasol in such, and that's the wrong button. I don't think you can find Needle here, so I'm gonna show off as many abilities as I can. This is Burning, one of the abilities we could have picked up earlier. Basically, same as Kirby's Adventure, you dash forward on fire. And boy, do I wish, and boy, do I miss it when this ability, boy, do I wish it was much better in Smash Brothers. Anyways, we get Koo. Another thing I forgot to mention is that whenever you get an animal buddy, you will get their corresponding theme. And Koo's main draw is that you're able to have unlimited flight by basically hovering and adjusting your altitude by hitting up and down. There is a glitch with Koo that you can do, but I'm gonna have to look it up on how to do it a bit later. Besides, if I were to pick up, well, Parasol with Koo, I'd get like a little spinning attack. But with Burning, you basically get essentially a dive kick. A burning dive. And it's quite powerful. So yeah. And first try on that one too. recording curse. I expect to have a much harder time against these things, and yet here I am doing it just perfectly. So we're gonna have to play through level 2 twice, and there's a good reason for that. For us to get this one, we need the needle ability, which we cannot get in this level. We have to come back to this level just to get it. So, like, we have to play through the level furthest enough. We can't exactly backtrack through the exits, as once you go through a door, it's a one-way trip. And yeah. So as soon as I see a needle ability, I'm going to basically change abilities right then and there. Ugh. And boy am I a bit nervous here, because it's been a bit since I recorded, but here I am just messing that up. What we have here is basically a downward spike that like, you have essentially just the ability to just turn yourself into a spike, and you can just move along with it for a little bit. And for how big these spikes are, they cover a lot. I was about to be like, how do I beat this? And then I'm like, oh right, there's blocks here. Anywho. Oh, that was perfect! So yeah, we cleared that level, but we have to go through it again for a reason. I will just collect the rainbow drop, and then I'll see you with level 3. Now, you see these dice right here? Well, they need needle. And there we go. Now, I will see you with level 3. Just wanted to make sure. So, after that, we are good to go to breeze through the levels, as we are about to approach the next world boss. Now, I will say that given that this is their first time with the animal buddy system, where they were combining like they were basically making ability combinations where the animal and the ability are different per character. Some animal abilities are just not very good, and boy, do I have a lot I have to cover when it comes to say Kirby Dreamland 3. Now, this is based on a yokai. This is Jumper Shoot. Yeah. This particular enemy is this particular mini boss will give Parasol if defeated. So they will always spin around for a bit, and they'll fire a wooden sandal. Now, what if you enter one of these rooms with a animal buddy already in hand? This is Gooey, a character that will become more important in the next Kirby's Dream Land game. We're not going to see this guy for at least quite a few more Let's Plays, because we still have Superstar Ultra to go through. And of course, collecting Gooey will give you a health pickup. There is a chance of another particular buddy that can show up, and it's actually different in the United States version. With Parasol as Ku, you can basically turn yourself into a top. This is your replacement for the Tornado ability, essentially. Because the abilities are much smaller in number, well, they kind of had to make sure they could be flexible. It's basically, the abilities are smaller in number, so it's much easier to incorporate more abilities with less abilities. Less is more in this case. Some abilities are really good, Some of them are just not. Like, we'll get to some of the lackluster ones, and I might even make a tier list on them. I don't know. I can't really promise anything until I can just judge everything for myself. So, back in a moment while we get another one up. And so the boss has opened for us. Who are we going to be facing next? Well, as soon as I get my notes together. Shoot, that's not the right way to go. This is a boss that's quite forgotten in the Kirby series. This is Nuff and Nelly. This boar-shaped, this boar-like, boss, complete with their children known as Nellies, will constantly charge in on you and will send their own offspring against you as well. I think there was a stage in Kirby Fighters Deluxe, a game I always wanted to get for the 3DS, but at the time those games were available, I didn't exactly have a way of earning income reliably. So yeah. Basically, they share a similar trope with another particular boss we'll be seeing in the third entry to the Dreamland series, or the second game in the trilogy. And they like to fire these bombs around you. Basically, they like to go from one side to another, similar to that of Lo 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 and La La La. I don't know if these two ever appeared in another game besides Kirby Fighters Deluxe. I've not played Kirby Fighters 2, and honestly, I wanted to. The issue is just being able to like afford it or something. Maybe someday. There are going to be a lot of Kirby spin-offs I'm going to have trouble covering without the use of mods, because guess what? Those shops are down, and the only way to play those games is if you had them pre-installed or if you modded your 3DS. Someday, just not today. Now, abilities are not going to do as much, but they are much more flexible in movement and such. What the game wants you to do is basically inhale the little Nellies and use them as projectiles against Snuff. And maybe someday I'll take on these bosses without any abilities, but my Wispy Woods fight left me without my confidence, and there we go. That is Nuff in Nelly. And yeah, that's about it. That is 2 worlds in one video. I'm not kidding. The first 2 worlds were going to be short. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's part. If you want to donate, there are a couple links in the description below. Any amount helps. If you want to follow the series and any others like it, it's just a click of the subscribe button and the bell and you'll be on your way. But you don't have to if you don't want to. The thought is appreciated. And until then, I hope you are taking good care of yourself. And I shall now bid you adieu.